Hello everyone, today I am going to recap a very scary movie for you, so if you are alone, don't watch it. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you. The film starts with a scary woman ghost, who has a terrifying face and a thin body. She can break someone's arm just by roaring casually. What's even scarier is that the main guy named Peter gets very close to her. Later, they find out she's possessed by an evil spirit. Under this influence, Peter, who is a priest, can't control his desires and breaks his professional rules. One late night, there's an exorcism ritual. Peter is asked to help. When he gets there, he feels something strange. The young girl Mary, who is possessed by the demon, is tied to the bed, but even with the restraints, she can still do bad things. The demon inside her makes her look scary, and she can hurt people just by looking at them. The doctor worries that Mary's body can't handle it for long, so Peter calls Father Holt. They've already asked for permission to do the exorcism, and Holt has it, but he can't come back for 2 more days. Peter thinks Mary might not make it, so he decides to do the exorcism right away. Holt reminds Peter that he hasn't passed the basic exorcism assessment yet. If he tries to do the exorcism alone, he might get hurt or even lose his life. He needs to be sure that he hasn't done anything wrong secretly, or else the demon could use his mistakes against him, and the exorcism might not work. Peter knows how risky exorcisms are, but if he waits for 2 more days, the girl possessed by the demon will surely die. In the end, he disobeys orders and immediately starts the exorcism ritual. Peter asks the girl's family members to wait outside. He needs to write down everything that happens. Then he holds a cross in his hand and says prayers against the devil. The devil doesn't seem afraid. It even tries to tempt Peter using the girl's body. The girl starts to unbutton her shirt, but Peter quickly looks away. He sprinkles holy water on the demon. The demon seems to enjoy it. Peter scolds the demon, but it just flirts back and says, "If you come in, I'll leave." The demon gets completely absorbed in Peter's prayers until the end. She lies exhausted on the bed. Peter thinks the exorcism was successful, but as soon as he gets close, the girl grabs his hand and kisses Peter without him resisting. But in the middle of their intimacy, Peter suddenly feels something strange in his body. His face instantly turns pale, his eyes sparkle, and in a flash, 18 years have passed. Peter has been living here for a long time, and he often spends time with the children at the orphanage. Recently, many children in the town have been getting sick in a mysterious way. There's not enough medicine in the hospital, so they can only hope for help through faith. Peter thinks this sickness might be because of the last time he did an exorcism. He plans to tell the bishop in the Mexican region about the wrong things he did during that time. He takes out the old tape that recorded the exorcism, but the bishop isn't interested in that. He's more focused on the good things Peter has done for the town. The help Peter asked for has been approved with this money. There's hope for the sick children in the hospital because the people in town respect Peter, although the bishop did not inquire deeply into Peter's mistakes. Peter still feels guilty about the exorcism. At this moment, a scream suddenly comes from outside. He goes to check, but he finds that Jesus on the cross has disappeared. He follows the blood stains on the ground. Peter sees a man hiding in the corner crying. He tries to ask the man, but there is no response. When he reaches out to touch the man's shoulder, his long hair suddenly reveals a terrifying face, and then Peter wakes up from the nightmare. On that day, the nearby prison asked Peter to come and help. It turns out that a prison guard had 2 fingers bitten off by a prisoner. The prisoner seemed to be possessed by a demon. The demon specifically requested to see Peter. After Peter arrives here, the doctor tells Peter that the person who wants to see him is a girl. The girl's symptoms are similar to epilepsy or schizophrenia. She was previously accused of murder when the body was discovered. The victim's head was twisted and hung on a tree after Peter met the girl who was possessed. The girl first spoke in the voice of a demon and repeated what the Mexican bishop had said earlier. Then she switched back to the voice of a girl and repeated what Peter had said to the doctor. Peter was stunned when he heard this. He didn't understand how the girl knew about these things. The demon told Peter we had known each other for a long time, then she taunted Peter. Peter felt insulted and ended the conversation. Peter suspected that this demon was likely related to the previous exorcism. The demon used the same tone, and he didn't want to get involved with this matter anymore. However, just as he was about to refuse, the possessed girl's mother came to him and begged. It turned out that the girl's mother was Mary. The girl in prison was their child. In the middle of the night, Peter suddenly found himself unable to move. At that moment, the door to the room suddenly opened. He struggled to turn his head to the side, but there was nothing at the door. The bed sheet on the other side bulged up as if someone were hiding inside. Since Peter couldn't move his body, he could only close his eyes and pray. After a moment, Peter's body finally regained its freedom, and the figure from earlier also disappeared at this moment. He grabbed his neck. The man who looked like Jesus appeared again, again, but soon everything around Peter returned to normal. Although Peter received funding, children still died in the hospital every day, and the doctors couldn't find the cause. Peter had no other choice, so early the next day, he applied for an exorcism to the bishop in the Mexican region. According to the proper procedure, they had to submit the application to headquarters for approval. However, the bishop believed that the girl might not be able to hold on, so he encouraged Peter to proceed boldly, assuring that he would handle anything from headquarters considering the previous mistakes in exorcisms. Peter decided to find a helper this time. He wanted to find Holt, who had previously opposed him performing exorcisms alone. That night, Peter burned the footage he had taken during the exorcism. It was the only evidence of his wrongdoing. Holt sensed his concerns, and Peter told him about the encounters with Jesus. After listening, Holt felt that Peter might be the true target of the demons. On the other side, a nun is saying her bedtime prayers. While she is praying, she suddenly notices blood dripping onto her face in the blink of an eye. The statue of the Virgin Mary disappears following the trail of blood on the ground. She sees a white cloth not far away. When she opens it, she discovers a dead infant wrapped inside. The nun is frightened and takes a few steps back. At this moment, a mysterious figure is approaching from behind, and nearby statues are also oozing tears of blood. The nun suddenly turns around, sensing something abnormal, but she finds nothing behind her. She gets up to leave, but as soon as she reaches the door, a force pulls her into the darkness. Soon, the children in the room are awakened by sounds, and the door is quickly broken down. The nun, who was dragged away earlier, is now possessed by a demon. The screams of the children catch the attention of Peter and Holt as the possessed nun approaches the children step by step. At a critical moment, Mary suddenly appears, and she successfully holds the nun back. Peter and Holt, who arrived, also drive away the demon. Peter realizes that the demon has indeed been driven away, but the children have developed rashes on their faces. If they don't find the cause soon, the children here will soon die inexplicably. Holt suspects that the children's illness may be related to the demon, so they go to the prison overnight to investigate. They see the girl crying one moment, and then she starts to make demonic sounds. Peter wishes to kill the demon immediately, but Holt appears calm. He smiles and says to the demon, "Prove to us that you are the devil. If you can't prove it, we don't need to waste time with you." After saying that he intends to leave at that moment, the prison cell door suddenly closes, then the demon spits out thick liquid towards Holt, and the liquid contains a prison guard's severed finger. Holt continues to mock and says that even if you are a demon, you must be the least capable one. The demon is instantly enraged, and Holt is uncontrollably near the ground. The devil asks, "Have you forgotten about the agreement between us?" Holt falls to the ground in pain. Peter sees the situation spiraling out of control, so he immediately starts praying, but the devil doesn't react until Holt, enduring the pain, joins in the prayer. Only then does the devil show signs of discomfort. Initially, they thought they had the situation under control, but the next second, it broke free from its chains. It bites off Holt's ear directly throughout the process. Peter seems to have no effect in the end. They defeat it with the help of the doctor's sedatives. The doctor suggests that they can use medication, and if all the prisoners are put to sleep, it can achieve the goal. Then Holt reminds Peter that Babel is a deceptive demon and he shouldn't believe anything related to it. It is skilled at manipulating human fears, and most importantly, Peter must not make a deal with it on the other side with the company of the prison guard. The doctor injects sedatives into the prisoners. However, they didn't notice that one of the prisoners took the opportunity to steal the keys to the cell. Peter then realizes that what Holt prepared is not ordinary holy water. The traditional rituals have no effect on the demon. In the evening, Babel, Mary and Peter talk about their daughter. Peter apologizes to Mary for what happened in the past. Mary believes that their daughter is the best gift from God. For many years, Peter has carried guilt in his heart. In fact, he fell in love with Mary a long time ago. The two of them embrace each other tearfully. After the warden makes arrangements, they prepare to evacuate. The doctor chooses to stay to help the lights in the prison suddenly go out. He goes to check, and finds that all the doors to the cells are open. Peter and Holt realize that the possessed girl is nowhere to be found. At that moment, strange noises come from above his head, but when he looks up, there is nothing on the ceiling. They have just relaxed when the cell door suddenly closes. Peter and Holt are trapped in the cell. On the other side, the doctor finds that all the prisoners in the cell are missing. The only remaining prison guard has been brutally killed. In the distance, the sound of a woman crying can be heard. The doctor approaches to examine her and realizes that the woman is clearly not normal. He prepares to give her another injection, but another person is looking fierce charges at him from behind after the doctor is attacked and falls down. The door on Peter's side opens. It seems like the demon intentionally wants to separate them and deal with them individually. Shortly after, the doctor crawls out of the darkness, using his last bit of strength to warn Peter to leave quickly. 3 people, possessed by demons, appear behind them, including the woman who hated the doctor. Holt successfully suppresses the 3 demons, but Peter has no effect on his side. He is even mocked by the demon. Then a statue-like demon appears, and with a slight movement of its finger, the cross in Holt's hand instantly heats up. Holt prepares an even larger cross to confront the demon. However, at that moment, the woman who attacked the doctor suddenly charged at them. The doctor appears again, and using his last bit of strength, he pushes the woman away, successfully buying Peter and himself some time to escape. However, he falls under the demon's knife. Peter and the others desperately try to escape, but the demon takes control of Holt, and he is stabbed. The prisoners in the prison become restless, and they can only temporarily hide in the kitchen. Holt angrily questions Peter about what he has been hiding, realizing that Peter's prayers have no effect on the demon. This suggests that Peter must have some sins not confessed yet. Peter confesses the truth about the exorcism ritual they had performed earlier, which angers Holt greatly. He resents Peter for not confessing earlier. They can no longer be opponents of demons. It turns out that Holt was also hiding something. Holt was forced to make an agreement with the demon to save people, but the price was that his soul belongs to the devil. After death, Holt, knowing that he is about to die, specifically reminds Peter. He warns Peter that Babel will use his weaknesses to tempt him. After Holt finishes speaking, he prepares himself for his impending death. The kitchen door has already been forced open by the demon, and Peter can only escape on his own. Peter is well aware that the first thing he needs to do is confess his sins and complete his repentance. Since the footage of the exorcism from 18 years ago has been destroyed, he decides to record a video using his phone. In the video, Peter truthfully confesses his act of violating the person he possessed during the exorcism. 18 years ago, although he was indeed under the control of the demon, at that time, the root cause was his own wicked thoughts. Peter sends the confession video to the bishop in order to verify the effectiveness of his repentance. He opens the door and confronts the demon voluntarily. He sees the possessed person charging towards him, but Peter swiftly takes out the cross, causing the enemy to instantly fall in agony. He finally realizes that God's protection has returned. Originally, Peter intended to completely drive away the demon, but suddenly a figure appears behind him. She strikes Peter unconscious. When he wakes up again, he finds himself tied to a chair. The chair was originally prepared by him, and Holt the devil had placed many candles on the ground. Peter's daughter presses the inverted cross to Peter's forehead. Her goal was to drive out the inside Peter's body so that the devil can proceed with their plans. They want to turn the entire world into hell. The devil sprinkled blood on Peter, and Peter immediately felt a burning pain, just like the holy water sprinkled by the priests during exorcisms. Meanwhile, the nun suddenly woke up. The children got sicker quickly, and she tried to get help outside, but the door wouldn't open. Then the statue-like demon showed up again. At the same time, the demons in the prison were also pushing God away. Peter knew he had to do something to fight back, so he prayed to God and fought against the demon in front of him. The windows broke right away, and the demons fell down in pain. Among them, the only one standing was Babel, who was attached to Peter's daughter. It turned out Peter had God's protection, and Babel had support from hell. On the other side, the nun was being choked by the statue demon from far away, but she kept resisting. She tore off the cross and fought back. Suddenly, the demon was weakened. Babel in front of Peter was also affected. The statue, like the demon and Babel, were connected, and Babel fell down. Peter wanted to send all the demons back to hell, but then the demon threatened Peter. It said either the children, including his daughter, would be hurt or Peter had to let God leave his body immediately. Peter understood very well what this meant, so he decided to accept the demon's conditions with their contract sealed. The demon immediately left his daughter's body. The critically ill children in the hospital recovered their health. After dawn, Peter successfully rescued his daughter. He not only received gratitude from Mary, but he also attracted the attention of international media. Peter became a saint in the hearts of believers. Subsequently, the bishop of the Mexican region came to congratulate him. Peter intended to ask him if he had watched the video he sent. However, the bishop did not report this matter to his superiors. He has also deleted the video. The Vatican heard about Peter's good deeds and offered him a special job. Peter was seen as an important person in the church. His daughter came to him for a blessing, but it made Peter uncomfortable. After the blessing, Peter watched his daughter leave, and he looked different. The bishop saw this and thought Babel the demon finally got what he wanted. The bishop of the Mexican region was part of a group controlled by the demon. Peter also noticed his daughter acting differently. It seemed that after the demon left Peter's body, God chose his daughter. When Peter started working at the Vatican, a voice said that a world without God would be in trouble. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.
مصادر الإرهاب